Well, questions still remained this week, Jonas and Bucky, especially among some Big Ten parents of Big Ten football players, as to why a conference schedule was rolled out.
If you look at that...
the other liberal outlets, and now they're trying to stay as far away as possible, as you're correctly saying.
You know, it is pretty amazing, and you know, I like the subtitle of your book also. It's "Abuse of Power: How an Innocent American Was Framed in an Attempted Coup Against the President," because that's really what it comes down to. But this is a year of your life, and now we know that they were warned before the first FISA application that it was not. There was no verifying that took place at all. We now know unverifiable. We know that Bruce Orr warned Comey in the Department of Justice. We know that Kathleen Kablack warned them. They ignored her warnings. And it says again, at the top, it says that this information that they're swearing to it is absolutely true to the best of their ability. But we know it's unverifiable. It says verified. Then Comey, after he signs it, goes to see Trump in Trump Tower and then says, oh yeah, the dossier, of which, let's see, McCabe, Yates, and many others all said you wouldn't have a FISA warrant without the dirty dossier. He said it's salacious but unverified, the opposite of what he said in October and the opposite of what he said the other two times when he renewed the warrants. He's just a liar.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. You know, the lies just run so deep. And I remember so many times we would talk over the last several years, and you were always talking about the boomerang, right? You know, the boomerang is coming. I think what we are now seeing, and we've been waiting, and, you know, you see little tidbits of information. I think the beautiful turning point on Friday is that the boomerang finally did turn significantly. And I think, as you're saying, there is just so much more to come now. And the timing is perfect because there's really a lot that needs to be revealed. And I get into, you know, again, you really laid out an incredible strategic worldview in your in Live Free or Die. And I'm sort of, you know, my book builds upon that with a lot of new details and new breaking news that I wasn't in a position to talk about, just given, you know, as you said, about my relationships and support, you know, for over a quarter century of the U.S. intelligence community. But now that that's been blown wide open with the IG report last December, it was time for me to start laying that out.
You know, I think it's all now beginning to come to a head. I mean, John Solomon's sources, my sources say that more is coming, and I think the predictable names, I'm watching very closely. I guess Brennan is supposed to be interviewed by Durham this Friday, so I keep reading. But you know, where's Comey? You know, all these deep staters, they now have big gigs, and they're selling their books and making tons of money and all this sort of thing. And I have no problem, obviously, with selling a book, but the idea that, you know, a higher calling, a higher honor, whatever it's called, and I'm like, this guy just is a liar. And if we haven't had equal justice under the law. At times it gets me, and I know it gets members of this audience very frustrated.
No doubt, Sean. And again, this goes back to your point about